everybody, welcome to Tim Untethered. I am Tim, and yeah, I am still untethered. Hey, just so you know, before we get too deep into this video, I know I always make these disclaimers about noise, but this could get kind of comical. I am in Yuma currently, just south of the Yuma Proving Ground, which is where the United States Armed Forces does its ballistics testing, as well as apparently other things too. So there have been artillery explosions over the last hour or so, and there's train tracks next to us, and there's planes going over, planes, trains, automobiles, and artillery shells, and then the rogue fly that flies in here because it's 72 freaking degrees, and I can't keep this van closed up. I have to open it up or we're all just gonna melt. Anyway, I hope that you all had a wonderful holiday. Whether you celebrated Christmas or Hanukkah or Festivus for that matter. And I hope that you had an excellent New Year's too. Things here were a bit spotty for me. I ended up spending Christmas alone, which was not planned at all. You know, sometimes things just sort of go south sometimes, and you know, that's what happened with me. I ended up having a plan that ended up changing, and I made a couple of poor decisions, and I ended up out in the middle of nowhere on Christmas Day editing the Badge video, which was cool. If you haven't seen that interview with Badge, go take a look. Badge and Elle were incredible people to spend time with. And of course, special thanks to Badge for doing the interview anyway, because I think it's only his second interview. And if you haven't seen it, you might want to check out the jingle that I did for him, because it's now his intro to his channel. So I'm glad to see that that got a life beyond just the interview video. But anyways, I'm editing this video out in the middle of nowhere. I have the, hear the train? Yeah. I had the back doors open. The boys are sunning themselves. It was a nice day. And I hear this voice at the back door, and this guy, Steve, hey Steve, comes around the corner, and he's holding this plate with a cinnamon bun on it and some holiday candies, and he said, hey, I hope you don't mind, but my wife and I noticed that you were alone, and we just wanted to let you know that your neighbors cared about you enough to bring you a treat for the holidays. Being alone on Christmas is what it is, right? But for somebody to actually walk 200 yards over to bring me a cinnamon bun, that's tear-jerking right there. So anyway, thank you, Steve, and I'm sorry I don't remember your wife's name, but thank you both so much. New Year's actually wasn't much better. I wasn't alone. I was with back with many of the tribe members that I have been sort of traveling with. But I got food poisoning. Yeah, on Christmas Eve. So while everybody else was gathered around the campfire and enjoying their fake champagne and getting their fake buzz on, I was, tending to cold sweats. Yeah. But I'm happy to report that things are going well now. Anyway, so we're in Yuma right now, probably going to be here for the next couple of hours until I get this video uploaded. And then we're going to go back into California. So we've just sort of like this zigzag motion. You know, one day we're in California, a couple of days later we're in Arizona, and then we just sort of tack back and forth. And that's kind of been my existence lately. Weather here is toasty, 72 degrees, and we're kind of loving it. So yeah, I know that a lot of you don't have that luxury, and I'm sorry, but this does kind of rule. I do want to talk to you a little bit about the RTR, and as well as what you can expect from me moving forward in 2020 as it relates to the content that I'm creating and this channel. So I'll be right back.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down.
So yeah, a little dog-related segue, and we are back. So just real quick, regarding what to expect from me in 2020, largely it's going to be more of the same. I really do like the, what do you want to call it, more of the cinematic journals. I don't see me ever really going out with a camera in front of my face, walking around, or just driving, long distances down the highway, talking about what it is I'm seeing or doing. I like this format. And again, because it's a discipline, the videography is a discipline that I want to learn, and that's why it's incorporated into this format. The Dweller Talk series I really like too, and I'm anxious to see that mature over a period of time. What's nice about the Dweller Talk format is that, at least thematically anyway, it's not a dry format. It is a discussion between two people. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We laugh, we smile, and I think that you get to see a side of people that you might not get to see in a typical interview, right? But there is a deviation from that I'm considering, and that is for people who might have more sensitive biographies or narratives where it's not always jovial in nature, right? So what I'm thinking about doing is more of a documentary format, maybe like a 12 to 14 minute documentary about an individual, and you don't even hear my voice in that. You just hear their voice. And it's a bit trickier to shoot because what I want to do is, first of all, talk to the person, see what kind of narrative it is, the point that they want to make at the end of this production, and spend 2 or 3 days with them and get as much footage as I can, and then stitch together the footage in a way that's consistent with the narrative and the story that they want to tell. And this might be fitting for people who might have health issues on the road, or have had financial struggles or tragedies that they're rebounding from, whatever it is, and just sort of showing how they got there and how they're thriving today. And that's sort of the point. Aside from that, there are a couple of personal projects. One is something that I think will be a benefit to many of us who struggle to articulate or justify why it is we thrive in this environment. Clearly, there's no shortage of people out there who question us being happy in this environment. There's no shortage of trolls either. So what I thought I would do is take a more scientific approach to this, and that is sort of looking at the science behind wellness and happiness as it relates to minimalism, as it relates to nature, as it relates to community, as it relates to exercise. And even though not all of those things will apply to us necessarily at one time as in this sort of nomadic lifestyle, those components have a profound effect on our happiness and well-being. And so when you shed all of the material items and you find your community, and you find yourself maybe hiking and exploring more, there's no wonder why we thrive out here. So I wanted to sort of gather some of the studies relating to each one of those sort of categories, and then give us a foundation video that we can point people to say, look, this is why we thrive here. And also sort of as a counter to people who might make van life seem like it's over-glamorize it. Let's just sort of get to the fundamental issues here, and then we can talk about it from there. And part of it also is that I'm hoping that this starts a conversation, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to have a dialogue in the comments area about maybe things that I missed or things that you might agree with or disagree with. So that's that. Now, what else? The RTR is coming up, and I will be at the RTR As a matter of fact, I'm going to be on a panel on Thursday, January 23rd at 3 p.m. I will be on a panel of with two other individuals, and we'll be talking about alternative ways to make money on the road. And my specific sort of thing is a marketplace called Fiverr.com. Now, I've been active on Fiverr.com for about 4 or 5 years now, 4 years, something like that. And it can be really helpful to a lot of us who are looking at sort of closing the gap if you've got a fixed income, for example. And so I'll be talking about that. So if you want to see me at the RTR and you want to see that presentation, the panel presentation, again, it is January 23rd. That's a Thursday at 3 p.m. So aside from that, I will be hanging out with my fellow solar buddies. That's going to be Stanley and Kenny and Tracy. Now, Kenny and Tracy you've seen in the in 2 previous Dweller Talk videos. And I also wanted to open that up to see if any of you might want to come hang out with us. You're certainly welcome to camp with us or just stop by and say hi if you want to. So I don't necessarily know where we're going to be. I've got a tentative plan. But what I did was I created a Facebook page, which I'll link to down below. And I thought that if you wanted to keep up to date on what my location was, and just so that you could stop by or hang out or whatever, that would be the place to go to sort of keep tabs on me. The other thing that does too is there are people who are, how do I put this, seem to have a more vested interest in regard to the content that I'm creating. And the discussion area here on YouTube doesn't really lend itself well to those types of conversations. So my hope is that we could have a dialogue over there regarding some of the things that I want to do, maybe run some ideas past you guys, and then you can give me some feedback. But, you know, I want to make this clear. I sometimes get frustrated with other creators when they just sort of reach out to their audience and they go, what do you want me to do? What do you want to see? My issue is actually just the opposite. I have too many ideas, and I'm hoping that with your assistance, maybe we can sort of whittle those down just a bit. So yeah. Anyway, Facebook.com/Tim Untethered, and come on over and let's chat. And you can also message me, at least for the time being anyway. So that would be pretty cool. So if you want to talk to me directly, you can do so via the Facebook Messenger. So I think that about wraps it up. I am going to edit this video. I'm going to upload this video so that you all have access to it. And then I'm going to go rejoin the rest of my clan over in California. So, yeah, so I'll see you soon. Bye now.